You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
And there you go. It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
And we are in the palatial Podcast Detroit Northville Studios.
Love that word, palatial. It's one of my most favorite words over the past couple of weeks. So thank you for that.
I've worked that into my shtick here.
You have.
It's Tuesday, Matt. What does Tuesday mean?
Tuesday means it's Monday.
Because that's our week starting.
That's how the week starts for the past 4 months now.
That's how the story begins.
Yes, it does. The week always starts at 5 o'clock on Tuesday with Joe Louis Bourbon, our good friends. They're just having a rockin' time with their launches across the country.
Yeah.
Start when we did this in Michigan because things happened way back in March, and we ended up doing this instead, doing a podcast at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays every single week with the Joe Louis Bourbon folks and help them launch in Michigan. It was an amazing experience because we were supposed to be downtown at the Detroit Shipping Company, and it didn't happen.
Right. So now we're having fun every Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're tasting Joe Louis Bourbon with friends, and we're talking about just everything that we want to talk about.
We really are. Yes.
And talking about friends, we were bringing in some friends today to join the party, and another group of folks recording down here. It's ladies' night at the Man Cave.
It kind of is.
It is. We got the ladies from Inspired Good Fat Life, the podcast.
Yes,
joining us.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
We're so glad you guys could make it. So joining us today, we have from the podcast Inspired Good Fat Life and the magazine Good Fat Life. We have Karen Sheri.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Experienced editor and, of course, the publisher, Sheri Richards. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is
And
fun.
we've been having a blast working with you guys and helping getting the podcast on the air. And you're like, what is all this bourbon over here in the corner? What's with the bar cart? And we're like, well, it's the Man Cave Happy Hour. And we're like, the ladies were like, we're going to be on the Man Cave. And I'm like, yes, you are. So we figured nothing better than to have them come on in and join us for a tasting Tuesday with the Joe Louis Bourbon, and also making it ladies' night. Tonya Cole from Making of Champions podcast. She's an actress and a film producer and just an all-around Renaissance woman. Tonya, thanks for being with us today as well.
Be here, guys.
Hey, Tonya.
Hey, yeah, hi.
and of course, rounding out the panel for today, Michael Shore.
Michael is here.
I am here. Good to be here.
We just about we have about.
Hi, Mike. Michael.
More podcasts than you can shake a stick at.
I think we're going for a record. I think we're doing that today.
But what we wanted to talk about, today was, cause it's Inspired Good Fat Life, right? It's all about wellness and healthy living and positive attitudes. And so we thought a fun thing to talk about today would be the positive influences of spirits on you. Cause it's not always a positive influence for everybody. It's not always a positive experience. Please drink in moderation and be smart about it. But we want to talk about, cause there's a lot of wives' tale, and you hear the one you hear a lot is a glass of wine is good for you. A glass of red wine every day is good for you for whatever reason that might be. So we kind of wanted to talk about that and the other myths about that. So that's what we're going to get into. We'll dive into that. But Sheri, before we go down that road, Sheri, tell me about your childhood.
We had a beer meister at home.
Yeah,
My dad,
A beer meister.
I'm listening.
Yeah, that was my dad made beer before until we could moved up and could afford the beer meister.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So what led you to, from the Beermeister to becoming a publisher of a magazine?
Good fat. Well, my grandfather was a chiropractor, graduated in like 1945 from chiropractor school, right? And he was everything organic and free range and grass fed and the whole bit. So he was way ahead of his time. So that's how I was raised. It was never my dream to have a magazine or to be in the publishing world or anything, but I always have loved connecting people, right? people that are doing amazing things with people who are looking for those people who are doing amazing things. And a couple years ago, I was trying to find a magazine that talked about fat and mindfulness and environment and had recipes that didn't have crappy ingredients in them. And I couldn't find anything that was congruent. And I just heard this voice in my head, like my grandpa saying, well, just start a magazine.
Okay.
and here we are.
Excellent. So how did you and Karen connect? Is there a story behind how the two of you got connected?
Go ahead. I'll let Karen tell it.
Well, yes, there is. So I was doing my taxes and we didn't take the right amount out. And we were I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my finances. And so I said to the tax guy, I'm like, do you know anybody that could help me? He said, yeah, Sheri Richards. So I put it off for a year and kept blowing Sheri off. God bless her. She stuck in with me. And then I saw the magazine one day and I'm like, oh, I should at least call and congratulate and say sorry again. I kept putting off our appointments and then the rest is history, right?
Oh. How long ago was that?
Not very long ago.
Well, the tax part was probably a year ago,
Okay.
right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm a CFO by profession.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I do.
Sheri, I think it actually was like 3 or 4 years
Oh my
ago.
God. Time
Yeah.
goes by.
So I think we
Yeah.
reconnected about a year ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Karen just said, we need a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have capacity, I don't even know. I'm just trying to keep up. And she goes, oh, no, we can do this. So I'm like, okay, Karen, make it happen. And here we are.
Here we are.
So,
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
So kind of like Tonya. Tonya got wrangled into the podcast, the Making of a Champion. It's all about boxing because Tonya, you're a boxing professional, right? No,
exciting.
she's not. She's not at all. It's like how Matt and I are not professionals when it comes to bourbons, and we're here to learn. So Tonya, the Making of Champions, how's that podcast going?
It's been going fantastic. I think I am learning just a little bit each and every day. I'm happy to see that Clay Collard won during the past weekend, and we're looking forward to Greg Vendetti's fight this upcoming weekend. So it has been an amazing experience to learn something completely new and different outside of my genre and what I already know. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. And so you're an actress and you do some film producing. You have something, because I liked it. I voted for you. You had something in a film festival or trying to get in a film festival. What do you have going on with the acting and directing career?
Yeah. So we have been in lots of different film festivals. We finished up with a movie called The Devil's Within, which kind of talks about the quandary of faith and the inner demons within oneself. And then we're working on a new one that we're going to be filming in a couple of weekends. So that one is called Monsters Are Real. So if you can't tell just by the name of those films, I work in the horror genre. So working with boxers and fighters is definitely a big change of pace, but I enjoy it.
Absolutely. I'm a big horror movie buff. I really enjoy the horror movies.
Yeah.
Truly do. So that's why what Tonya does is just incredible as to, it's so much fun to watch and see it produced and what these people do and go through. Yeah. So thank you.
All right. So we were talking about the positive benefits of spirits and of wine and of Joe Louis bourbon. And Joe Louis already making somebody happy. Patricia checking in on Facebook saying it was fabulous seeing Joe Louis on the shelves in New Hampshire. So Patricia is happy.
As of this week, not all of them, but the major liquor stores in New Hampshire, it's all on the shelves there.
So, yay! So, but wines, right? So you hear the story about wines being good for you, and it's because of reading an article here off of treehugger.com. I was like, okay, there's a lot of articles about it, but I'm like, okay, treehugger.com, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
So it boosts antioxidants. It can increase good cholesterol. With doing that, it can decrease the risk of heart disease and lessen the risk of a heart attack. And so it may reduce the risk of a stroke as well, thinning the blood out. So good stuff. Good
stuff.
Yeah.
And then, lower stress and anxiety just because, you're feeling good after a glass of wine. So.
Yeah.
So where did you look that up, Jamie?
Moderation, let's be responsible.
Right.
Doing it responsible. Treehugger.com.
So I actually found a few things on the whiskeyloot.com.
Okay.
Right? And actually, one of them was said top 10, but one of them, number 6, was a lower risk of dementia.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as you consume responsibly, you can remember what you did the night before. But yeah, but you know, that's it's for our elder population. And you see these centurions out there living past 100, and one of their things is, it's a shot of whiskey a day is what kept me going.
They do say
Yeah,
that
they
a
do
lot,
say
don't
that.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have happy hour
They don't
day.
say 5 shots, but
No.
they say,
Yeah.
Moderation.
Can't remember.
Right,
I can't remember.
That's the part I still got to get a handle on. That whole moderation piece, I think I still need to work with.
Right.
So whiskey has no
What
fat.
What about the dietary piece, right? Did you see what I posted earlier today in anticipation of this? How
No.
many carbs are in every various spirit?
In whiskey, there are no carbs,
No
correct?
carbs.
That's correct.
Little
is-
fat,
Wow.
little sodium,
Yeah.
no fats in whiskey at all. So, but it's got simple sugar in it, but your body breaks down that simple sugar real easily at the same time. So that's why it kind of helps to promote weight loss at the same time. But in my experience over the past 4 months, it's a very different experience. I was mixing in beer and other spirits on top of that. So.
I actually did stop drinking red wine during COVID and started drinking whiskey and tequila.
Oh.
And lost 10 pounds.
Oh, wow.
I mean, not a lot, right?
That's a diet
But-
I can get behind.
Because I went 10 in the other direction.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I was,
It's
For weight loss.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh my, it's true.
because a lot of times you get the stigma of, whiskey, that's a man's drink, and it's, I don't think it's a little bit of a misnomer. I mean, there's the Michigan Bourbon Club, and then there's the ladies Michigan Bourbon Club, and there's like as many women in the ladies one as there is in the gentlemen's one. It's really truly amazing that it's not just for the good old boys anymore. It's a good drink for everybody. Tonya, on your bar, what do you have on your bar? Are you what kind of cocktails are you into?
Gosh, I've got a little bit of everything. So I've got about like 89 wines on stock, and maybe about 35 to 40 whiskeys on stock. So
Wow, how nice.
You made me super jealous.
Party at times.
I'll work on this one and say, well, wines, I'm so sorry. I've not been giving you the attention that I need to, and I get the glass of wine. I did spend about, I think a year ago, down at Chateau Lawn, where they had their wine fest. I spent that entire time tasting bourbons. That was like their first year that they introduced bourbons there, and I think they had about like 12 on site. I spent the entire time tasting bourbons, not wines. Went on the wine tours, but it's definitely something for the ladies. They did a nice job of it, so I really enjoy it.
So
We should point out, Jamie, that we met Tonya because she was a fan first who was curious about bourbon and reached out to us and had also seen some of the early things we were doing with the Black Bourbon Society. And so that's how we all connected. But so she represents really the trend, which is that it is more and more women are discovering this, and it's it isn't about the good old boys anymore.
That's it. So, but Karen, what about you on your bar? What do you have? What do you have at home for fun and frivolity?
Well, I just made Stoli Doli. We did some canning. I made Stoli Doli and peppered vodka.
Stoli Doli.
Yes.
I've never heard that before.
Basically, pineapple soaked in vodka for 6 weeks, and you can it. And so we actually made that. So that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Party at Karen's house.
Party at my house. Yeah. We have a little bit of everything. Yeah, we have wine in a box.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Then it's like a breakfast cereal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Those kind of things. I'm not very sophisticated palate, but I'll try something, and I'm certainly willing to try. And I do love Joe Louis bourbon. I have to say, shout out to that. It's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we were gonna try some today, but we had done some. I think it wasn't during the show, but it was post show. After it's fun because the good inspired Inspired Good Fat Life, records Mondays at like 11 a.m. And so we're recording and we get done. And so it's high noon. And they're like, we want to try this. And I'm like, oh, it's afternoon someplace.
Yeah.
So it was kind of game on.
Yeah.
But we were going to pour that out today. If you guys wanted to, we got our Joe handy and off of the bar cart there. And if you guys want to pour that up, we could kind of,
Sure.
You could kind of dive into it and
Okay.
kind of give us your impression because we haven't run through it with you. So you give us your impression of. I should have opened that.
Boy, do I know do I need to know terms like a pecan?
You can make
it up.
That's what Matt and I do. We just make it up.
All right. See if I can. I've actually. Sure, can I?
I'm just gonna smell it.
Okay, you're gonna smell it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an event I need to be clear-headed for, so
All right.
I'll smell it. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I know about drinking whiskey, what I think I know, is first you take a sip and it's like a high, right? A little tiny sip, like high.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. Say hello.
Hello. And then you taste it a bit. Then you. How are you? Taste a little bit longer, right?
I like this approach. I kind of do.
A little bit more for Santa Claus. A little bit more.
I'm going to say the barrel and the wheat are sparring together very nicely. How's that sound?
That sounds good? That sounds good. There's no wheat. There's no wheat in it. So.
I've been doing this.
The
Is
rye,
like this is episode 79. I've never sounded that good.
No.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or look this good. I mean, let me just throw that. No, I'm kidding.
So what do you think?
The mash bill is 66% corn. So how does that translate for you?
So it's 66% corn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
66% corn. It's 14% rye and 20% barley.
Mm-hmm.
It's very light and refreshing. It's not harsh at all. Some of the whiskeys that I've tried and bourbons, they taste like gasoline to me. So this is very sippable and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I like it straight. When I do the Joe, I do it straight. Matt and I, we've done a couple recently. We got into like playing bartender recently, and we've done a couple of episodes where we were like mixing cocktails and stuff. And there were a couple of cocktails that Joe really stood out. It was still maintained its character.
Integrity, yeah.
But then a lot of the other ones, there was just so much in it. It just got buried. But it can hold up in some of your cocktails. But when I do it, I'll do it neat more often than anything else. Is the way I go with it. So Tonya, you posted a picture of a collection of bottles, a bunch of Wellers, and I think you almost have them all. I was like super jealous. I'm like, I'm gonna go raid Tanya's house because that's pretty amazing. So when you're drinking a bourbon, Tonya, how do you drink it? Neat or how do you do it?
And then I do put it on the rocks occasionally. I am kind of an old-fashioned girl, so I prefer that drink, but that's probably as far as I go. If it doesn't go down nicely for me like Joe Louis does, then I pretty much leave it on the shelf. But with the Wellers, I am missing 3 of those. So I am looking for kind of the orange label and the blue label. And so I'm working my way there, but I definitely enjoy the hunt.
Right. It is. That's the thing. It's like the community that you can build around the shenanigans. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like what you do with your magazine. You've kind of built this community. It's been interesting to watch the guests you've brought in, for Inspired Good Fat Life. A couple people you knew and a couple people you were just getting to know. And it's fun to watch you guys become friends while you're talking to them on the air.
Oh, yeah.
So what's on the horizon for, Good Fat Life? What's your goal with the magazine and what are people going to find in it?
I'm still smelling these fumes here. The goal is to inspire, to give people an easy way to find ways to feel better and to just think better and be better. And we say, live their best life.
Okay.
And so, and some of the things are kind of what you're talking about. So I took a cocktail class, right? Because I've always been a wine drinker. So I took a cocktail class because I just wanted to know more. And with COVID, you have more time to kind of experiment a little.
Well, and you're a class,
right?
a classy lady. So.
Yeah. Right. So there you go.
You love your classes.
Yeah, I do. Good one, Jamie.
Yeah, that's the truest statement. Yeah.
So anyway, but it was so much fun, kind of to what Tonya was saying. It's like there's so many different things to explore, right? And this tastes different than this, and then you throw some bitters in and some different mixers, and
you become like a chemist, right?
Yeah, it's just so much fun. So the thing, with Good Fat Life is that we want to be congruent about bringing people together that are doing amazing, fun things, interesting things, and maybe inspiring you to take a little bit better care of yourself. Maybe the clothes you wear, how you think about the environment, the thoughts you think, the whiskey, moderation.
Moderation.
Whiskey,
Always
right?
in moderation.
Always in moderation, right? So.
How hard was it to launch the magazine? You got this idea, and how hard was it? How long had you been planning to do it? How long did it take you to get this off the ground?
From the idea to the very first issue was 10 months.
Okay.
Wow.
So, it's a long time.
What was the most challenging part of that? What caused you the most grief? Because I know for Joe Louis Bourbon, it was those damn boxing gloves. So Mike still has nightmares about it. What was the most challenging piece?
Please don't say Karen. Please don't say
Yeah,
Karen.
Karen. It's been one of those things, like I said, it was never on my horizon. It was never anything I thought I wanted to do. But once I heard that voice in my head and kind of in my intuition, like, we're going to do this, and I had clueless how to do it, but I did trust that the people that I needed to show me the way would show up. And that's exactly what happened. So every kind of step, the next step, somebody showed up and said, I can help you do this.
Wow.
So, but the biggest challenge is just the mental thing. It's like, is this good enough?
Talk to me about the cover, talking about things coming together and people showing up when you need them and where you need them. Tell me, hold that cover. You can hold that cover up to the camera. And then tell me a little bit about what's going on and who's in that picture and how that came together.
I'll let Karen explain that to you.
Well, first, I just wanted to add to Sheri's concept of the magazine. I think another thing that we try to put across is a safe, non-judgmental, all-inclusive place to feel well. And then the cover, we've been so lucky and fortunate to have so many interesting people in our life. So on the cover here is our great friend, June Wilson. And then you can see Sheri and I are behind in the tutus. You can see my ankles there in the white. Yeah.
So I love that. That's you guys holding up the props in the photo.
That's us propping, yeah.
We're in a creek in Milford.
And then there's another friend who's the model.
And we call them the the Good Fat Life ambassadors, which, Jamie, we consider you in that. You're always uplifting to us, and now Matt, you're part of our tribe, and
thanks.
everyone here, thank you. So she works for U of M. She is a research administrator, and she just has a very interesting story. So we're like, hey, how about write about reflection during this time? So it was challenging figuring out the cover. Sheri, you want to speak to that?
We are so blessed. Like I said, people show
Just
up.
show up.
So Linda Michelle Doble showed up. Who's a brilliant photographer. Who's just so creative in the work that she does.
She's got a great vision.
She
does.
Yeah.
And it's not somebody smiling on a cover or standing in a whatever.
It's also like cookie cutout. Almost,
Right.
Yeah.
So she has. Oh, you should see what's coming for the fall.
I'm so excited.
It's off the flipping charts. But she has this vision, right? And it's amazing. And so we just kind of like
we work collaboratively.
We just collaborative, but follow along, and it's really been quite interesting.
So what's the website if people were interested to subscribe or to follow along or get connected?
Yeah, goodfatlife.com. And we have the digital version and then the print copy too.
And then people can find the podcast on there as well.
Yeah.
Plus wherever finer podcasts are sold.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Which is actually a little bit of a misnomer. You go, hey, go subscribe to my podcast. Most people think with a subscription, there's a fee. For the podcasts are free, baby. Yeah. Man Cave is anyway. At least the Making of Champions.
We gotta work on that, guys.
Yeah.
No.
That's all free, right, Tonya? So, Tonya, do you have any interesting guests on the way for the Making of Champions, the boxing podcast?
We have a couple lined up. We want to keep that a secret for now, so we just kind of keep posted on the Joe Louis Bourbon website and the Facebook page. We'll be posting up there. I'm hoping to play Collard back on there after his win. I'm excited.
Yeah. So you had a guy on. He went. And he won his bout.
Yeah,
He won last weekend. We had Greg Menditti on for a second time, and then he goes into Saturday. So
He's the main event on Fox on Saturday night.
Oh, okay. So, Michael, what is the status of boxing and the Joe Louis Bourbon involvement with that? Is there, because I know you guys were trying to get a couple bigger events together. What's going on? What's new on the horizon for sponsorships and events?
Yeah, well, what's happening is that there are more of these fights that are happening. They're not necessarily happening with crowds, but they are happening. That's the evidenced by the Clay Collard fight and Greg Menditti. All of them were kind of quiet for 4 months. At this point, the actual Golden Gloves regional tournaments and the USA Boxing National, those are still, that's going to be next year. They're not really coming back this year. Okay. Obviously. So those things aren't happening. But what we're doing is, we're staying very plugged in and involved and supportive. And as you know, you've got the, the Making of Champions boxing series, which is scheduled for a week from Saturday. And doing their next episode, and that's on CBS4. So they're happening, and we're involved in that. So, yeah, I mean, I think really what we're doing is to staying as connected to the boxers, the work that Tonya and Marquise are doing, and making the champions, and really kind of introducing them as human beings. And I think that's really the most important part of what we're trying to do, which is not to be all about stats and wins and losses, as much as the people, the personalities, what it takes to be a champion. And that's what Tonya's really good at. We joked about earlier that she came on board without boxing experience, but that was very intentional, because we knew that, we'd learned enough that she was a good storyteller. She understood, look, she's a woman, she's a mother. Those things matter when you are thinking about much more important than the history of boxing and every statistic going back. We got Marquise for that.
Yeah.
He knows. I don't even know how it fits into his head.
Marquise is good. Yeah. So
he knows everything.
All right, so you were talking about the boxing events not having people in the stands, and it's I've been watching some of the pro sports, and what's bugging me about it is the canned crowd noises, and I don't know. I guess the radio announcers, it would be weird if they were there just kind of calling the game and there was no background noise, but it's the fake background noise. It just irks me.
Yeah. Sounds like a 1970s sitcom.
That's what I was going to say.
It does.
It bugs me. Got over that.
It bugs me to no. Bugs me to no end. But my favorite part of it is the cardboard cutouts of people.
We got to get our cardboard cutouts on the show. Let's do that, guys. Let's make a plan right now. All of us.
My favorite one was somebody Weekend at Bernie'd one of the baseball games, and there was the Bernie with the sunglasses on, hilarious. All kind of tilted and whatever. That was my favorite thing. So that's my question to each of you. If would you want to be a cutout, and if you could put someone in as a cutout, who would you put as the cutout behind there? Matt, we're going to start with you.
All right.
Would you be the cutout, or would you have them put somebody in there?
Can I do both?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because
would you be in there?
Yes, I actually have my cutout, but I would go to where I could afford. So I'd be up in the nosebleed seats at the very top, looking down upon. So I'd just be that one lone guy. But then actually, I would actually put Sylvester Stallone right behind home plate. Because that is the most intimidating. If you get the Rocky Sylvester Stallone behind the home plate, no one's going to swing. They're going to miss it. They're going to mess up all the time. I want something intimidating behind the plate.
That's it. So
Weekend at Bernie's is hysterical. I want something intimidating, because how many fans are walking up behind home plate and doing this in front of them, shaking their hands in the air and trying to mess with the pitcher. I want something intimidating.
So if I was going to do it, I would have to do it at a basketball game, but only if my cutout could be next to Jack Nicholson's cutout.
Oh, I like that.
So if I could be with Jack Nicholson's cutout, I would pony up and pay for that. That's what I would do. Tonya, what about you? Who would you put? Would you put yourself?
I definitely have to cut out. But I'm sitting next to Kamala Harris. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Karen, what about you? Do you want to be at a game?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I want to be there, but I want to be dressed as Carmen Miranda. and I want the fruit hat on, and I want the cardboard cutouts behind me eating the fruit off my hat. as a snack.
Sitting kind of sideways, looking angry.
Maybe like a ventriloquist on my lap. I'm not sure. But
Have you
something
thought
like that.
about this already? Is it
It just came to me just now, but it feels right. It feels really right. I don't care what game it's at. I really don't.
Oh, you don't care what game? Okay.
No,
All
but I
right.
think it should start making like a tour, like a Git. You know what I mean? Like touring all the games.
Well, the basketball one, I think it had like fake like screens up there with like
They
fake
do. They
people
have
moving.
Zooms. No, they have Zooms.
People, you can zoom in.
You can zoom in.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. We got a lot to work on here.
Yeah.
That's some Home Alone stuff right there.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Rocking around the Christmas tree. All right, Sheri, are you gonna be cut out at a game?
Yeah. Well,
Which game? What
but
game?
It's funny you say that because my first thought is I want to be in a tutu.
Oh,
in our-
perfect. Yeah, why not?
And front row seats where I could never afford at like a Yankees game.
All
Okay.
right. I like that.
I like that.
Go Yankees.
All right, Michael, what about you? Are you a cutout or are you putting a cutout in there?
Oh no, I'm putting it. Can I get two?
Yeah, sure.
I got to. Yeah, why not?
I want to have Joe Louis
Mm.
in his prime, sitting next to his adult son JoJo.
Oh,
love
that's
that.
nice. How sweet.
That is awesome. Do you have news about the Joe Louis Southern Kitchen that's opening up in Detroit?
I had news in the fact that JoJo called me all excited about a week ago saying he tasted everything on the menu and he was very excited. I don't know exactly what the open date is. That still has to do with things like certificates of occupancy and all that.
Right.
That has to happen. But I know they're close to the finish line and it's happening.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
So
it's
I
very
had
cool.
heard a couple buzzes that things were on their way. So I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy about that.
I mean, it may be like as we speak, but this was about a week and change ago where he was sharing with me that he was in Detroit, not the week before, and he had come back and they had done menu tastings and final decisions on things. So yeah, so
Okay.
it's moving.
Awesome.
Yeah. So pretty soon, you folks in the Motor City
Do you
will
know?
be able to have
'Cause-
carb-filled menus.
Because I know it's downtown. I know it's in the News Center area, but that's all I know about it.
That's as far as
I know where it is, but I don't remember the name of the address.
Fair play. All right.
we got some homework for
Yeah,
next week.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you for that.
There you go. Research.
So I'm going to take everybody back a few, about 15, 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
And somebody had, which is something you really don't want to do in 2020 is go back in time. But
Yeah,
we're going to
no.
do it anyways. All right.
Well, let's go back to that.
We're going to go back about 15, 20 minutes. Tanya, you had mentioned that you're an old-fashioned type person, yes?
Yes.
So today just happens to be, what is it? National Whiskey Sour Day?
National Whiskey Sour Day.
Right? And I'm going to take you back even a couple more weeks where we did, Jamie and I, on a Man Cave and a Joe Louis Bourbon on a Tasting Tuesday,
Yes.
we made a best New York sour. And I have made it 3 times
I've done it.
since.
I've done it twice at home since then too. It really was the best New York sour. It really is.
But now today being National, Whiskey Sour Day, there's a lot of, people are posting pictures on the socials about, their favorite whiskey sour drink and what have you. It's just that it's just very fun that we're all here talking about Joe Louis Bourbon which mixes very well into a sour.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge National Whiskey Sour Day.
Now you've
Well,
raised
cheers. Cheers to that.
moment. I remember that was the first whiskey that I ever had was whiskey sour. Of course, I was 12 at the time. Because that's what I could, my parents had the little old Mr. Boston whiskey sour mixes, and you could mix it up and, and cover the taste of the booze, and it was like lemonade.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Not that I'm proud of that.
my parents were both teachers, and so we led because it was some tight times there in the 70s and 80s, and we led a thrifty life, and we took this big family vacation out to California. One of my dad's sisters lived in California at the time, so we all 6 of us piled into the big old Lincoln Continental with the big car carrier on top of it. driving across, looking at the biggest ball of twine, and went across the country. And they drove us to California, and then they dropped us at his sister's house, and then they left and they went to Vegas for like 2, 3, 4 days.
Smart parents.
And they did, yeah. And then they came back, and when they came back, they had these extra little satchels, right? And then so these satchels ended up back at the house. These satchels, they were thrifty, my folks. They all like the airplane size bottles of the little cocktail mixes. And I just remember whiskey sours in the little from Free from Vegas. I don't know where they got them. I don't know if they were raiding the minibar every night back in, because this was 1975, right? So they were raiding the minibar, and I was like, I don't know, super young. I was 9, right? So they're raiding the minibar. This is before you had to pay for the crap in the minibar, right? So now it's like they have weighted refrigerators. It's like, you took a peanut, we're charging you $30, you know?
Yeah.
But so they came with these satchels full of these bags. And by the time I was a teenager, they were still around the house.
That's the best lemonade ever.
And we thought it'd be a good idea to drink them. And, well, no, it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, in both of your guys' defense, why do they make them kid size?
That's
Do you know
it.
what I mean?
Honestly.
Yeah.
They were
think
so
about
cute.
That. Think about that.
Yeah. The whiskey sour, though, because a lot of times a whiskey sour will call for an egg white. The recipe that Matt and I made, it didn't call for the egg white in it. It said, if you'd like to do it with the egg white, do it like this. But originally, the way it is, the egg white freaks me out. A lot of people say,
I love a good egg white.
do ya? Do ya?
Yeah,
So
I do, yeah.
I wouldn't, I don't know why. I'm just like,
it's very, very creamy. It gives it a really nice.
see, I haven't had one. And so I'm a very fussy eater. So it's like, it's you know, if I haven't, I'll eat sushi. Yeah, no, I love sushi. It's crazy.
Well,
It's
that was the raw thing that was getting me.
yeah. No, I take it home. I cook it. It's fantastic.
What happens if somebody puts pickles on your plate?
Well, I'm allergic. I break out in hissy fits.
See?
The other thing is that, remember, we're in 2020, so you get pasteurized egg whites.
Right. So Tonya, if you're doing a sour, are you doing it with an egg white or no?
I would do it with it, because I went to Peru about 2 years ago, and you've got to have the pisco sour. So you've got to go big or go home.
I got to try it. I think I'm gonna have to suck it up.
Yeah.
Brave it out.
Yeah.
You'll love it. It's great.
I think I'm gonna have to give it a try.
So just to refresh everybody's memory, what goes into a best New York sour?
Yes.
So you have 2 ounces of your rye whiskey or bourbon. You have an ounce of fresh lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, 1 egg white, which is always optional, but I guess we're going to dive down that aisle. But then also a 1/2 ounce of the red wine. But the red wine is the key in how you pour it into the drink. You have a spoon and you turn it upside down and then you pour the wine over the spoon that way. And that's what gives it the layer on that New York sour.
Yeah.
So, but it's
You
a lot
float
of,
it. You float it on there, and
It's
I'm
a lot
lucky
of-
because I'm the Irish boy that I am.
Yeah.
I'm all about the black and tans with my Guinness.
Yep.
And so I got the special Guinness black and tan spoon, so it works perfectly for doing that wine float on top of your whiskey sour.
Well done.
So
Yeah, I have a question, guys. If you add a little, as a replacement, can you add just a little bit of NyQuil in there, like as a mixture or something? Like mix half.
Please, sir, can I have another? Yes.
oh mercy sakes.
Don't. I think that could be combustible.
Yes. Oh my God.
Next thing you know, you have Klaus Van Beulah standing over you.
Yeah.
Waking up to that. All right.
Oh, fantastic.
So no, I enjoy those. I enjoyed I like mixing the cocktails. Colleen and I were hanging out on the deck, and so we were like pulling out the shakers, and we started making some cocktails. It adds to the fun, I think.
I think it's time that we get some more mixologists back into play.
Yeah.
One of our favorites just started a new position at a local watering hole down here in downtown. So we can reach back out to Tara, have her come back on. And there's a few other folks. There's a few other folks that we can have out.
I do see Tom McGuire, and there's always Bob Reedy if we dare.
Yeah. If we dare.
That's awesome.
Sounds like there's a story there.
All right. So Tonya, we're gonna wrap things up here. So Tonya, give us a little bit about who, what, where, when, why, and how. How can people find you? How can people find your podcast and then your acting and producing adventures? How can people find out about you?
Yeah, so you're going to find me on Facebook. I'm a little back to that old-fashioned drink. I'm kind of old-fashioned and kind of back in the time. So you're going to find me on Facebook. You're going to find the podcast on Joe Louis Bourbon's website and Facebook page. And you're going to find everything about the movie on Foreman Empire Productions Facebook page as well as Instagram.
Awesome. I'm excited about the movie. I love that you had a picture of Times Square, and there was a quick shot up there, and you got it. So I was so excited for you. That was so cool. Karen, the Inspired Good Fat Life. It did make the dyslexic boy put 4 words in the right order. All right, Inspired Good Fat Life.
Himself, not me.
So Inspired Good Fat Life. Tell us how people can find out about you guys.
Okay, Inspired Good Fat Life podcast. You can watch it on Facebook Live or any of your favorite podcast formats. And then you can also go to www.goodfatlife.com and click on subscribe for the magazine digitally or get it at your home.
Sweet. Michael, any more Joe Louis news you need to share before we wrap it up?
Well, you can find me here Tuesdays. Apparently. No, I just, things are cracking. We are moving forward. There's an opportunity for bringing in some new ownership, some investors. So that's something that people should be in tune with if they're interested. But the New Hampshire launch is big. We're in Maine. We're in Oklahoma, Mississippi, Michigan. And Nevada is coming back in play. I should have timing on that. Kansas, Kentucky, followed by Florida and Georgia, and then the rest of the world.
Fantastic.
Taking it by storm. Once the place opens up. So, Matt Fox.
Yes, sir.
Tell them about us.
Well, the Man Cave Happy Hour is, you can find us online, www.mancavehappyhour.com. We are on the socials. You can find us.
It's www.handsomemothers.com.
HTTP.
HTTPS. We're
S.
secure.
Where's that S at? Yeah.
We're secure. That's it.
No, but if you have a comment for any of us, we want to get better at our craft. We want to help bring better content to our listeners and to our audiences and what have you. This is fun for us to do. But if you have a comment, you want us to, talk about something that your favorite drink, let us know. Yeah. Subscribe, like, we want to get better for you. We want to be here for everybody else and just love to bring people together on the Man Cave. So thanks everybody for being here with us.
All right. So wherever you're listening, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Truly appreciate you spending time with us, taking your time, spending some time. And everybody here, Tonya, Karen, tell Sheri we said thank you. And
Yes,
Michael, is always a pleasure. Everybody, we round it out. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Tonya, we'll see you.
Nice meeting you guys.